गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सेदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। सरस्वत्यै नमो नित्यम्। भद्रकाले नमो नमः। वेदवेदान्तवेदाङ्ग विद्यास्थानेभ्यैव च सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। अचतुर्वदनो ब्रह्मा द्विबाहुरपरो हरिः अभाललोचनः शम्भुः भगवान् बादरायण। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Yes. Subin. What do we do? So huge, Sunji. It's come get a bit on the Canada. We come to watch the letter in part. All the tones. It's easy. What is the no?
Tauber.
Yeah. Take it after it's beating the song, dear. It's for a cover over this one, dear.
Nice. द्युभाध्यायतनं स्वशब्दात् मुक्तोपसृप्य व्यपदेशात् नानुमानं मतच्छब्दात् प्राणभृच्च भेदव्यपदेशाद् प्रकरणा स्थित्यदनाभ्यां च भूमा संप्रसादादभ्युपदेशात् धर्मोपपत्तेश्च अक्षरम् अम्बरान्तधृतेः सा च प्रशासनात् अन्यभावव्यावृत्तेश्च ईक्षति कर्म व्यपदेशात् सह ईक्षति कर्म व्यपदेशात् सह Page 273. We'll read from last line, page 274. नैष दोषः पिण्डापेक्षया प्राणस्य परत्वोपपत्तेः इत्येवं प्राप्ते अभिधीयते परमेव ब्रह्म इह अभिध्यातव्यमुपदिश्यते तस्माद् ईक्षति कर्म व्यपदेशात् ईक्षतिर्दर्शनम् दर्शनव्याप्यम् ईक्षति कर्म ईक्षति कर्मत्वेन अस्य अभिध्यातव्यस्य पुरुषस्य वाक्यशेष्ये व्यपदेशो भवति स एतस्माद् जीवघनात् परात् परम् पुरुषयं पुरुषमीक्षते तत्र अभिध्यायते अतथाभूतमपि वस्तु कर्म भवति मनोरथ कल्पितस्यापि अभिध्यायति कर्मत्वात् ईक्षतेस्तु तथा भूतमेव वस्तु लोके कर्म दृष्टम् इति यतः परमात्मैवायम् सम्यक् दर्शन विषयभूत ईक्षति कर्मत्वेन व्यपदिष्ट इति गम्यते स एव च इह परपुरुष शब्दाभ्याम् अभिध्यातव्यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते ननु अभिध्याने परः पुरुष उक्तः ईक्षणे तु परात् परः कथम् इतर इतरत्र अत्र प्रत्यभिज्ञायते इति अत्रोच्यते परपुरुषशब्दौ तावदुभयत्र साधारणौ न च अत्र जीवघनशब्देन प्रकृतः अभिध्यातव्यः परपुरुषः परामृश्यते येन तस्मात् परात् परः अयमीक्षितव्यः पुरुषोऽन्यस्य कस्तर्हि जीवघन इति उच्यते घनो मूर्तिः जीवलक्षणो घनो जीवघनः सैन्धव्यखिल्यवद्यः सैन्धव्यखिल्यवद्यः परमात्मनः जीवरूपः खिल्यभावः उपाधिकृतः परश्च विषयेन्द्रियेभ्यः श्रोत्रजीवघन इति अपरः स सामभिरुन्नीयते ब्रह्मलोकम् इति अतीतानन्तरवाक्यनिर्दिष्टः इति अतीतानन्तरवाक्यनिर्दिष्टः यो ब्रह्मलोकः परश्च लोकान्तरेभ्यः श्रोत्रजीवघन इत्युच्यते जीवानां हि सर्वेषां करणपरिवृतानां सर्वकरणात्मनि हिरण्यगर्भे ब्रह्मलोकनिवासिनी संघातोपपत्तेः भवति ब्रह्मलोको जीवघनः तस्मात् परो यः परमात्मा ईक्षणकर्मभूतः स एव विद्यानेऽपि कर्मभूतेति गम्यते परं पुरुषमिति च विशेषणं परमात्मपरिग्रह एव अवकल्पते ओके we were seeing the Ikshati Karmadikaran, and in this Ikshati Karmadikaran, the topic of discussion is from Prashnopanishad. In the Prashnopanishad, the Satyakama is one of the 6 disciples who goes to the teacher called Pippalada. And going there, he asked the question about Omkar Upasana. So Pippalada said that there are Omkar Upasana is done in Parabrahma and Aparabrahma also. Parabrahma means Hiranyagarbha Upasana and Parabrahma means Shuddha Brahma Upasana. In both, the Omkar Upasana is done. So here, this particular mantra what he took was fifth mantra, 5.5. In 5.5, so first Akarupasana was mentioned, then Ukarupasana. Ukar means I know both, and then A, U and Ma. Omkarupasana was mentioned. When Omkarupasana was mentioned, then after mentioning it was said that this Upasak who is doing the Omkarupasana by the devatas of Samved mantras, he is taken to Brahmalok. And there in Brahmalok, Sayetasma Jivghanat Parat Param Purushayam Purusham Ikshati. He sees the Purush there. So now the question what was raised? What was the question there? The word Purush, that it was said that he meditates on the word Purush. Now this Purush word, does it indicate Hiranyagarbha or does it indicate the pure self, Paramatma? Purva Paksh says that this Purush represents the Hiranyagarbha. So this is the Hiranyagarbha Dhyan. Siddhanti says that this is the Ishwar Dhyan. See, if you see the mantra, what is written there? Yaha punaha etam trimatrena om iti ete naiva aksharena param purusham dhyayi abhidhyayita. We saw that. Yaha, by the three matras, he is meditating on the Param Purusham. Param Purusham. So what is this Param Purusham? What is this Param Purusham? And this Param Purusham, and here Abhidhyayit means Upasate. He is doing Upasana. Sa Tejasi Surya Sampanna. Tejasi Surya Sampanna means he becomes one with the Shukragati. And because of his Upasana, he is free from the sins. Sins means mental impurities. Kam, Krodh, that maintains Bhed Bhav, that is called sin. Bhed Buddhi. Because you will be angry only when you have Bhed Buddhi on somebody. Or you will be jealous only when Bhed Buddhi. Calm is there when Bhed Buddhi is there. He is different than me. So when he, because of his Upasana, he is free from Sa Papmanam. What is it? Papmana Vinir Mukta. Like the snake's skin is free. Similarly, he is free from sins. The tendency to see yourself as cut from others. Tendency of seeing our Veshti as Veshti and not identifying with the Samashti. This is a sin. I see myself only in one part and I cut the joy and sorrow of the whole. So Upasana took away that sin. Right? Upasana is identifying with some bigger something bigger, vaster, where you lose your small identification, lose your small ideas. Then it was said, Sa samabhi unniyate brahmalokam. You saw that. He is taken to Brahmalok. By whom? Tritiya is there, Samabhi. By the devatas of the Samaved devatas are there. Brahmalok word is there. In your book, if you saw, Brahmalok is there. And in the Brahmalok, what happens? Saha, Sa means that upasak. Etasma jiv ghanat parat param purishayam purusham ikshate. There he sees by the knowledge given by Brahmaji, he knows the Purusham. Purusham means that self. So, how will you say? Omkara Rupa Paramatma Upasanaya Brahmaloke Paramatma Jnanam Bhavati. This I told yesterday. So, by Upasana, he goes there. It is just like here only. Somebody does very good action in this last birth, and he comes to some teacher in this birth, and teacher gives him the knowledge of the self and he becomes free. It's like that. It's like that only. And there, while practicing, when he's practicing Upasana, he wouldn't have knowledge. But why he will do Upasana if he has knowledge? While he is doing Upasana, he doesn't have knowledge. Neither he is totally ignorant. So he has half knowledge and half ignorance. This was the general introduction of this particular mantra, if you remember. I had already told that. So what is the problem? Problem is that Purush word on which he is doing the Upasana. Is this Purush Hiranyagar? Or is this Purush the Brahman completely? And Purpaksh is saying this is the Hiranyagarbha Dhyanam, and Siddhanti is saying it is the Ishwar Dhyanam. What is the difference between two? Ishwar Dhyanam and Hiranyagarbha Dhyanam. When you say it is a Hiranyagarbha Dhyanam, then it is the dhyana of some Ishwar, or is someone who is in Desh Kal. And if it is Ishwar Dhyanam, it is the dhyana of someone who is Deshatit, Kalatit, who is without any specific property. So that is there. So Dheya Purusha, Dheya Parapurusha, Paramatma Eva. So now what Bhagavan Vedavyasa says? He says that in this particular mantra there are two parts. One is called Dhyan Vakyam, other is called Phal Vakyam. What is Dhyan Vakyam? Dhyan Vakyam is statement prescribing Upasana or meditation. And what is that? Parapurusha Dhyanam. Omkara Rupena Parapurusha Upasanam. That is called Dhyan Vakyam. Omkara Rupena Parampurusha Abhityayita. This is a Dhyan Vakyam. And from Saha Tejasi is Phal Vakyam. See? If you have seen, see where it is said, Trimatrena Om Iti Anen etenev aksharena param purusham abhidhyayeta. Till here is the dhyan vakyam. Sa tejasi surya sampanna. From here, phal vakyam comes. Phal vakyam. Fruit. Fruit is there. This dhyan vakyam, where the purush word has been mentioned, this purush is a very loose word. Purush word. Purush, you know, in Sanskrit it also means male. Istri purush is also there. Purush also means purnatvat. Purush also means hiranyagarbha. So in our scriptures, Purush word is used for Virat, Purush Sukt. Purush Sukt, that is for Virat also. Purush is also used for Puri Sainath. Sakshi is there. So what is this Purush here? This is the question. Siddhanti says, Siddhanti means may the Vyas Bhagwan or one who is propounder of Upanishadic statement. He says here Purush word is only for Ishwar or Brahma. Ishwar or Brahma. And reason is given in this sutra. In this sutra, reason is given. And let us see how this reason is given in this sutra. So, in support of our reason, Vedvyas Bhagwan is now quoting Phal Vakya. Understood, no? One is Dhyan Vakya, other is Phal Vakya. And Phal Vakya starts from Sa Tejasi and it ends into Purusham Ikshate. Okay. Now he says, who says? Vedavyas Bhagwan. He says, in the Phal, fruit is written. What is the fruit written? Saha Purusham Ikshate. He sees that Purush. So what is the Phal? Param Purusha Ikshanam is the Phal. Parama Purusha Ikshanam. Ikshanam means what? Jnanam. Ikshate means Janati, Avagachati, Sakshat Jnanam Bhavati. Iksh dhatu is there. Iksh, to see. So Ikshanam means what? Jnanam. Okay. Ikshanam means Jnanam. So what is a grammatical point is there. Now what is said here in this portion, what is said here, please see this. In this it is said, what he meditates, he come to know. This is the essence of this mantra. One who meditates on something, he will come to know on that. So if this, please be careful, if the Param Purush was Hiranyagarbha, then he will come to know about Hiranyagarbha. And if Param Purusham was Brahman, then he will come to know on Brahman only. Now the Dhyan, the Phal Vakya is saying he comes to know about the Purush. Purusham Ikshate. Now this Purush which he knows, both Purush are the same or different? The Purush is mentioned in the Upasana also, And Purush is mentioned in the Phal also. Both Purush are same or different? Same. Same. So if he knows the Purush, then he must have meditated on the same Purush. It is not that you meditate on something and you know something else. If he has meditated on X Purush, so he will know that X Purush only. So there are not two options. Option number one is he meditated on Hiranyagar. So he will know Hiranyagar. And option number two is he meditated on Brahman or Ishwar. Then he will know Brahman or Ishwar. Definitely knowing is the last fruit. Supposing option number one is taken, that he has known Hiranyagar. So here this cannot be the fruit that he has known Hiranyagar. Because Hiranyagar knowledge does not give any benefit. Hiranyagar knowledge, see what is written here? Purusham ikshate. Are you following the argument? Hiranyagar knowledge cannot give me any fruit because Hiranyagar is the Samashti Sukshma Sharir, total subtle body. Supposing I know the subtle body of everybody, by my upasana, I know subtle body of all beings. It won't solve my problem. It won't give me the fruit of liberation. Supposing you have knowledge of Indra. Yes, you have knowledge of very big. No doubt. You have knowledge of very big. But that knowledge is not going to solve your problem. He is not becoming Hiranyagar. Please get my point. Otherwise he will become Brahma. He is not becoming Hiranyagar. This fruit is not giving that he becomes Hiranyagar. But that's why he would have become Brahma. Then there's another fruit. Purusham ikshate. Now Purusham bhavati. This is not written that he becomes that Purush. If he had become Brahma, at least some post is there. It was still something is good. But he doesn't become Brahma. He doesn't become Hiranyagar. The differentiation you've tried to make it out. Because any Brahma who is the present Brahma, how he becomes Brahma, that one who identifies with the whole Srishti, whole Samashti, identifies. I alone am. This is Aham Graho Upasana. Aham Graho Upasana means I alone am the whole creation. And this he does for years together. We work together. People do this also, yes. If I do, I can also become, yes. But Brahman is already there, you cannot replace him. And next Brahma, I think, also is almost got the post. So, and present Brahma is 50, I think 53-year-old. And that Brahma, 52 year means 1 year has 365 days. And 361 day is 1000 Chaturyugi. So after billions of years, another Brahma will come. So I think better don't go for it. It's too late. It is better if we can get something here only. Who will wait so long? He knows the subtle body of all. This fruit of knowing the subtle body, catch this point, is important point. Purishayam purusham ikshate. So ikshate here means sees, knows. So that exercise, that does not give any benefit. So one person went to Ramakrishna Paramhans. He said, I have known one thing. I know how to cross the river without the boat. I can walk on the water. So Ramakrishna Paramhans said, you have only saved 2 paisa. And that time, the boat was costing 2 paisa. What great deal about that? Knowing everybody's mind is not very great thing. Uriya Baba, he did Upasana in Guwahati of Devi ji. Kamakshi Devi is there. Anyway, I'm not going to tell the long stories. Short thing I'll tell. And with that Upasana, what happened? That anybody who came in front of him, he started knowing his mind. So dangerous, no? So, if anybody, you won't go to that person. So he started knowing his mind. But he said it was so disturbing to see people's mind. Some have calm, some have krodh, some have dvesh. So he prayed to Devi that please take away this faculty of knowing people's mind. And then Devi ji took away that. Still you could know the mind. People could come to him and hardly anybody asked questions. He used to just give the answers. So these siddhis are there. But these siddhis are not giving any permanent solution for my life. This is Upanishad. Upanishad means Brahma Vidya. He wants liberation from the limitations. And therefore, if the phal is Hiranyagarbh Gyan, it is not any solving thing. And because it is not solving my problem, therefore, Upasana Purush will not be Hiranyagarbha. This is how they conclude. Therefore, meditative Purush will not be Hiranyagarbha. Because if that Hiranyagarbha was meditated upon, the fruit that he will know Hiranyagarbha is not a great fruit, you can say. I'm not saying good fruit. It's not great something. It is not something which will going to give you peace, or it is not going to quieten you. It is not going to take away your rebirth. Whole thing in the Upanishad is that your sorrows will end or not. And if sorrows are not ending by something, it is useless. However big it may be. And therefore, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji in Mundak Upanishad Bhashya, it is written, Dve vidye veditavye parachaiva paracha. 2 knowledges should be known. One is Paravidya, that is a Paravidya. So Tatra Para, Rigvedo, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharveda, Siksha, Kalpo, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chandam, Jyotisham iti. And if you see the Bhashya there, he says Aparavidya, Avidya eva. This Aparavidya, knowledge about the world, is as good as ignorance. Because it doesn't take away the pains and sorrows of the person. Do you think Nobel laureate is there? Who has got Nobel? Or Einstein is there? Einstein wouldn't have got rebirth. Or Milton is there. Or Longfellow is there. Longfellow is not somebody long, it's the name of the poet. Longfellow is there. Or Shelley is there. Wordsworth is there. All these poets are there. Their sorrow didn't end. Whole attempt of the Upanishad is that your sorrow should end forever. And sorrow will end only when you are out of your prarabdha karma. Because sanchit karma is there, thousands of sanchit karmas are there. Yesterday, if you remember, night I was telling that God sees all your actions. You remember this? When you say you don't know what God will do, it doesn't mean he is erratic. It only means you don't know which of the fruit he is going to give you right now. And for giving that fruit, which person will be brought? Or which insect will be brought in? In one ashram, one lady was bitten by insect and she died. You don't know what accident will be brought in, or some kingdom will be brought in. You don't know. There are a lot mixed fruits are there. And therefore, after this birth is over, so one lot of prarabdha is over, but another lot is there now. So you are constantly being tossed by this prarabdha. Sanchit becomes prarabdha. And while exhausting the prarabdha, we create more fruits. And this way, Akar Chari Lacha Chaurasi, Joni Brahmati Jeev Abhinasi, Sada Brahmat Maya Kar Prera, Kal Subhav Karm Gun Ghera, Kabahuk Kari. So this is the running is going on. So Upanishad is not interested in giving you some great knowledge of the world. So nowhere in the Upanishad is somebody asked, in Upanishad it is mentioned how to see palms. Or how to see the astrological chart. Or by reading, if I become a saint, can I see somebody's mind? I say, see, don't talk all these topics. These topics are highly worldly topics. Seeing astrology and seeing palms, this is not the subject matter of Upanishad. It is not something which is talking about some joke here. It is the seriously talking about the knowledge of the self so that you can be free from all limitation and you are not going to get another body. This body you got so much of pain, you all have. Somebody has headache, somebody has a stomach ache, somebody has ache in the feet, somebody has backache. Plus, don't know what is there in future also. We all have to pass away. You don't know what situation will come for passing away. Which pain we have to go through. In the remaining part of this life I'm talking, not next life. You don't know whose bereavement we have to see now. We don't know who else will come in our life to give joy or sorrow. In the remaining 20, 30 years or 50 years as the case may be. You don't know. So are you happy that you will go through these processes? Moksha means that I don't want the fruit now. Good and bad both. I'm fed up of going from situation to situation. I don't want to be flung from one situation to another situation. Got my point. And this is what makes a person, howsoever good situation may be, it will end. And good situation also, I will be using my body and body will have its own problems. Body will have joy, sorrows. It will become old body. I will go to heaven. Heaven, swargaus ant swalp duktai. Heaven, chhine punne mart lok tre vidya mam soma paput papa. So if you go there, then also you return back here. And therefore there is no respect of all these things in the Upanishads. It has no value. However great you may be, you may be king, it has no value at all. It just brushes it off. Nastya krata kratena. And therefore you heard Yagyavalk was a king. And he left his kingdom. I told you the story. Jnanagni dagda karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. So Gita is moksha shastra. It is not a Kam Shastra or Artha Shastra or Dharma Shastra also. Gita is not saying how to do Karma Kand or how to do Sodash Samskar. Somebody said Sodash Samskar is in Gita. I said, Gita is Moksha Shastra. It is not interested in Samskar, etc. Understood the point? Because everything, there is a central theme around which whole thing should be woven. Therefore, Hiranyagarbha Gyan is not going to give me any benefit what I came to the class of the Upanishad. People come into the ashram not to get any certificate. Not to do any social work also. Not to, get fame also. I'll become famous by becoming brahmachari. I don't think so anybody becomes like that. He is dialing a wrong number. He should go and join politics, or he should do some company. Or anybody comes to eat good food, or anybody comes that. And if they come, they crash. They have to go back. It happened, they came. When they say Swami is outside, they say, wow, what are Swami is there? Swami is going in a car. Car comes and picks up Piksha, this, that. And they jump to become brahmachari. 2 years they couldn't complete. Those 5 classes. Sitting there continuously. Do meditation, do jump. They left in between. And good they left. If you want earth, you should pursue another direction. No, it is not a place for that. It is for mumukshu, for the seekers of truth and who want liberation forever. If you are not, some marriage bureau is not there. Marriage bureau was there, it was written, marry now, pay later. So, it is not like that. Understood? Whatever meaning you had to say. Here a person comes, I want to be free from all problems for all time. And therefore he is not satisfied by any small thing. You praise him and he will be like, oh, leave you praise, I am going somewhere else. I am going for my solitude sadhana. I am going, don't disturb me, I don't want anything. I am telling this because this Hiranyagarbha Gyan is not going to solve your problems. It is somebody has told me, well, I am doing now one P yoga. I said, what is P yoga? He said, for losing weight, I am using P yoga. I said, what is P yoga? He said, I only pray. I don't do anything. So, he prays, oh God, take away my weight. See, this won't fast. Prayer here. Unless you really physically come out, you won't lose weight by prayer. He said, why Bhagwan, if I pray to Bhagwan every day, instead of investing 1 hour, 2 hours in the gym, if I pray, oh God, please take away my weight. Will not God take away my weight? I said, sit down first. Prayer starts on some topic where you have put all your efforts and you failed, and then you pray. You don't pray for something which you can easily do. It won't listen. Your weight won't listen. It was so simple. You all would have prayed only. And weight would have been lost. You have to know how to do exercise, then you have to go and do it. It won't go. I said, okay, then why don't you do for eating also then? For eating also you pray, God, let the food enter into my mouth. There you go. And you are hanging around the kitchen there. And then you eat. There you are not doing any prayer. And you forget to do Brahmarpanam there also. This is cheating. Don't be cheating. The prayer is not cheating. Prayer is only when you are, I'm telling you. People ask funny questions very seriously. And the prayer starts only when you have really put all your effort and you have failed miserably. Then prayer comes out. So I hope this point is clear. Hiranyagarbha Gyan is therefore not of any use for student of Upanishad. It is not going to give you any freedom from sorrows. And therefore here the Purusham Ikshate, it should be Paramatma Gyan only, knowledge of that Ishwar who is beyond space and time. So how will you say now? Ishwar Gyanena Muktihi Bhavati. Ishwar Gyanena Agyana Nivrittihi Bhavati. So Agyana Nivritti Janya Adhyas Nivrittihi Bhavati. So by the knowledge of that Ishwar, ignorance goes away. Get this point. By the removal of the ignorance, superimposition or adhyas goes away. And by going off the adhyas means idam and aham is mixing. I have the knowledge of the pure self. This is the point. I hope this is little clear to you. Can you see both the Purush, the meditative Purush and the fruit Purush? So because the fruit Purush will give mukti, therefore meditation would be on the Ishwar Purush and not the Hiranyagarbha. Ishwar means Brahma Purush. Paramatma should be meditated upon. That means he is meditating on that God who is Anant. Now let me go to the word meaning of this sutra. What is the word meaning? Ikshati karma vipadeshat. Sah. There are two words. One word is ikshati karma. Ikshati is not a verb here. Grammar students. Ikshati karma vipadeshat is one word. And sah is another word. Sah. So you supply the word Paramatma. So Sah Paramatma Ikshati Karma Vipadeshat. So let us see each word, then we will complete this sutra. So Sah word means Dheya Parapurushaha. Supreme person, Supreme Purush, who is the object of meditation. in Dhyan Vakyam. This is called Saha. Saha is that Dheya. They means meditated upon. Meditated upon Dheya Purusha, Dheya Parapurusha, Supreme Purush, which is presented as object of meditation in Dhyan Vakyam. So what you want to say? That Purush, which is Upasya, is Paramatma. Is Paramatma. Why? Dheyatvat, because that was meditated. How do you say like that? Now the hetu is given. Reason. Ikshati karma vyapadeshat. Ikshati means jnanam. As I told you, ikshati is a grammar usage where verbal form can be used as noun. So ikshati, ikshatihi. The real word is ikshatihi. It is like mati. Ikshatihi. You know, in ikshate, in that 6th sutra, ikshate, there also I told it was the 5th case. Ikshate word had come. There I told that ikshate goes like matihi. So now the verb converts into a noun. Like cooking. Cook. A cook can be noun also, verb also. He is cook. He is cooking. So both have, the word can be changed into from the verb to noun. Hugging. Hug is a verb also, a noun also. Give me a hug. Some are very happy. So this is a noun. And only hug is verb. Got the difference. So nice you told. Why are you coming on this topic? So ikshati is a verb. It has converted like mati. So ikshati word is not a verb. Here it means knowledge. Jnanam. And ikshati karma, what word is in here? Object of knowledge. Ikshati karma means object of knowledge. Ikshati karma means object of knowledge. Ikshate na shabdam. This was the sutra, I think 6th sutra, 5th or 6th. Huh? 5th sutra. 5th adhikaran, 5th sutra was. Ikshate na shabdam. Huh? So I think in the sequence it was the 5th sutra. See? 5th or 6th sutra. Ikshatir na shabdam. 5th sutra. The popular sutra is there. So ikshati karma, that means object of knowledge. Karma means object. There is no, in grammar, karma doesn't mean action. Like Ram, Ramah, Graham, Gacchati. Ram goes to house. So here Graham is called karma vibhakti. I don't give me surprise look because I have told that. So one is karta, that is karma. So Rama is in karta, nominative. So accusative is called karma. Technically it is called karma. Their karma doesn't mean action. Karma is object of action. Like I am talking to you, so you are called karma now. You are seeing me, so I am the karma now. So in ikshati karma, it means Gyan is the object of knowledge. Object of knowledge. So ikshati means knowledge, then karma means object. Object. So object of knowledge is mentioned there. Where? Ke vishaya in the phal, in the fruit of this Vyapadeshat means because of the presentation. So how will you conclude that? Because of presentation as object of knowledge, Parapurusha. Again, because of presentation of Param Purusha as object of knowledge. Because he knows this, because of presentation of Param Purusha as object of knowledge. Because this is what is known here. Because of presentation of Param Purusha as object of knowledge. I hope this point is clear. Again see, Ikshati Karma Vyapadeshat. So Vyapadesh is for the phal, not for the dhyan. Because he says he knows that Purush. To that Purush should be Paramatma only. Because after Paramatma Gyan only all sorrows go away. And therefore he must have meditated on the Paramatma Gyan. Paramatma in his dhyan. Therefore he got the fruit of, ultimately he had the knowledge of. Because on what you meditate, you actually go there. On what you meditate, ultimately you reach that. So he meditated upon the Paramatma as other than himself. After that, he had gone to Brahmalok. There Brahmaji told about that what he was meditating in ignorance. That this is you only. And therefore he got the liberation. I hope. And therefore his problem gets sorted out. And therefore he must have meditated on the Paramatma and not the Hiranyagar. This is the matter which you have seen. Please clarify this. If you have any doubt, it should be out. Now, one Urpaksh comes, but I'll see it tomorrow. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.